And
right,
now,
well,
and
so
here,
long. All right.
is it good? Yeah. All right. And I'm alive. We're alive somehow, but why?
That's a really good question.
Yeah.
I think somehow the Earth is keeping us alive, providing stuff for us to eat, air, and these weird things.
It's not for lack of us trying to destroy it, though.
Well, why do you think we're trying to destroy it? We don't like being around. We don't want to be alive.
Right. So stop sustaining this messed up existence. Just let me go already. If I have to watch another Niners loss like that, I'll be happy for this place to turn into a giant ball of fire.
Oh man, Niners and Raiders had it bad yesterday. Jesus, it's so bad.
I'm not even dissing the Raiders, but how do you end the game the exact way you lost the last game, and like a lateral scramble?
To make it worse, that was actually a good game. It was a surprisingly good game. I don't know what happened. Then you guys, damn,
dude. So the improvement the improvement was there. The like things started clicking in place, and like Kaepernick started looking like he gave a damn, and I don't know. I don't even know where it went all wrong. Maybe it was that PI right at the end zone. Oh
and,
god.
Kaepernick did a decent job for once in his life.
Couldn't blame anything on him last night.
And that's really the
his
sad
leadership.
thing.
Just blame his leadership skills. That's it.
What leadership skills?
Because always if you could blame him, he's the scapegoat. You could always blame him, but then it was the rest of your team now.
Yeah, now the rest of the team is under fire for just collapsing in the last 2 minutes, and people are starting to realize like Tom Sewell. Well, they already knew Tom Sewell was a joke, but now they're just like, he's a new scapegoat because he gives horrible interviews afterwards. And the best part is like he's actually giving the interviews that he's supposed to give as a coach, where they ask him like, "Hey, what are you gonna do next game?" He's just gonna say, "Do better," Next question. Like, what is he supposed to say? What is he gonna like lay out the game plan on TV?
Yeah, you have to, just so everybody knows it's not your fault.
Right, like here's what we did wrong. Here's what we're gonna do next week.
Full disclosure, here's where the defense fucked up.
I believe in complete transparency. I don't care if the other team knows what we're doing. It's about how we do it. I wish we had a Bobby Knight. We need a Bobby Knight over here.
That's.
Are you guys messing up? Is this thing messing up for you guys?
I'm hearing a little bit of robots from this, but I'm not having a big issue.
I'm seeing people go on mute and off mute repeatedly.
That's weird.
Discord, come on.
Yeah. I'll reconnect, see if it makes it any better.
Yeah, that's just me testing push to mute.
Oh, okay. Well, aside from that, pretty good game, pretty good weekend. SoCal Regionals actually happened.
Wait, what?
Yeah, even when we even.
Oh, you missed it, Gibby. God,
SCR? No way. I'd have known if SCR happened, guys. It was supposed to happen in February. No, I'm sorry. It was supposed to happen in oh, god damn it.
June. No. October. It was supposed to happen.
It was supposed to happen in a timely manner, and I guess it did. It definitely got done. Things happened. People showed up. People had a good time. I guess I wasn't there for once, but from what I'm hearing from everybody else, it wasn't terrible. It was pretty cool.
I mean, I wouldn't go that far.
See, this is the first time where I can't even like have an opinion on what happened, because usually I'm right front and center for like the turds being thrown in my face,
The opinion coming out of SCR is one, fuck Ontario, and no one ever wants to go back, ever.
Right.
And The venue just kind of had some issues. They had a couple power outages just randomly for periods of time over the weekend. The ballroom was probably smaller than UCI's.
Wow.
And so there was just kind of like logistical problems. I heard some people had to wait a long time for matches because players were not getting DQ'd.
Oh, that's just it. No, come on.
I don't know too much about that whole situation myself. But
was that like mostly on the Capcom side, I guess?
I heard it was a little bit of both. Originally I heard something just that it was happening, but I didn't know too much. Okay. And then, obviously there was at least a good example of that in Guilty Gear pools, so.
Oh man. See, this is what happens when Tony doesn't show up to run brackets.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's hard to say because, like I said, I don't know who was responsible. I don't know if it was a bracket runner, if it was somebody above the bracket runners,
Well, one of the things to consider, not putting it entirely on bracket runners because they kind of have to deal with the cards they're dealt with at times, is it appeared that with them running so many things at once, there wasn't a lot of consideration given to, let's just say Kazunoko having to play 4 gear, maybe DFC, who knows if he entered, play all of those at once and have to accommodate those kind of players.
Very true. Running, were they running like 18 games or something nonsensical like that?
I knew that
a lot.
I knew there were going to be people who were playing multiple games, and obviously this was the tournament that encouraged that. But at the same time, I was like, you got a limited amount of time and clearly a limited amount of space. So, yeah, you kind of can't DQ anybody.
Yeah, it's hard. It's definitely always a question too, because like we've been talking about, you never know. You never know if actually somebody is playing another game or if they're not and they're just being lazy.
Right, and you're not going to check. You're going to be like, hey, check to see if this guy's in the bracket and see where he's at and see if he's playing his match right now. And it's just like, nah, F that, man. Just wait for him to show up.
Yeah. So, but yeah, and honestly, I have no idea what the fuck we were doing out there. Like I said, the ballroom was not any bigger. Like for me, I was like, okay, it's not terribly big, but a lot of people are just like, no, this is actually smaller than UCI. And that kind of threw me. I was like, okay. And there's literally, look, in the hot spot after the tournament is over for the day is to go to the Denny's with the bar.
Oh.
You done fucked up. You done fucked up. Like, that's where everybody was going because there was literally nothing else to do.
That's pretty bad. I mean, now we've spent two years in Sacramento for NCR, and it's kind of hard finding stuff to do there afterwards too, but it's doable,
I was actually comparing this. I was talking to Steve earlier, and I actually compared that, and I said, you know what? I would rather go to Sacramento than to Ontario because there were bars I could walk to in Sacramento. There were many places to eat I could walk to in Sacramento. Like, these were all varied things. Yeah, Sacramento, for a lot of people, you don't want to go there. Totally understand that. Kind of dead. Get that too. Things close early.
Right.
But there was actually things. There may not be the nicest things, but there were things. There were no things in Ontario.
Oh my God.
Also, the big thing about Sacramento is that it doesn't smell like pork poop.
Yeah.
So this was just, an exercise in futility, basically, and enjoying yourself.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'll give Level Up Series this. They had to make it happen, obviously, and they went with what they were given, and they technically delivered. And now here's my question: since things got pushed so far back in terms of like scheduling and whatnot for the actual event, what's he supposed to do now? What's Vi supposed to do now for next year?
That's a good question. I really have no idea, because the last time something like this happened, I believe there was one, I think in the early fall like this, and then he like skipped half a year, right?
Right.
And then came back. So I don't know. Maybe does he try to shoot for going back to spring again? Does he even think? Does he try to consider going back to winter again, or does he just stick with fall now?
I don't know, man. Because like I don't think him sticking with fall is very. It's not very good for him. You know, there's a lot of like after Evo events that happen around the time that he would want to do it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm like, I don't know if he's got like the fiscal, like, backing to just go right back to, middle of winter. And I don't know if people are even ready to go back to SCR middle of winter 2016, like maybe he would want to wait till early winter, like late December or something.
Yeah. And it's just so hard, because what's hilarious is that right now, and even though we always used to talk about spring being when all the events, right now it feels like there are less events in spring than there have been this fall.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's going to change as soon as we get to 2016, and it's just going to explode. Like, I don't know where there's a hole in the schedule these days. Like, where do you find your niche? How do you find your niche?
You got to decide who you're trying to market to. Like, obviously,
that's the thing.
Like, obviously, Big E has run multiple tournaments, and not all of them were the same high profile as, ECT or NEC, right?
Yeah.
So he obviously will continue running these events, but there are certain ones that he expects a certain amount of people to show up to and get a certain amount of notoriety.
Yeah.
And so,
well, and I almost feel like it's getting to the point where we're coming to see that it's almost going to be like certain events are for certain games. Like, I feel like the only way that can happen, because you can't expect everyone to go to a major with 8 to 10 games every week.
Right. It's impossible. I mean, we've got CEO Taku coming up literally next weekend, and it's going to be running a lot of the same games that are at SCR. And I know a lot of people didn't go to SCR because they were planning on going to CEO Taku. And I'm not saying it was a waste of time for Valle to do it the way he did, but at the same time, I'm like, dude, like, this is like, there's a lot of people that you're just not going to catch from this. And maybe that's fine for him. Maybe he's just like, you know what? I just want to give them the option to do it,
See, that's the thing, is I totally see that. I feel like the answer isn't necessarily not running certain games, but showcasing certain games.
Yeah.
Like, basically, obviously all the events that have had Capcom Pro Tour, that's kind of like the highlight game. And Street Fighter is always going to be a highlight game to an extent. Unless you're doing something like CEO Taku, where it's like, no, that's not the highlight game. We're only featuring these games. But I don't think it's wise to either, to just drop games either, because then you're even going to lose the local scene who can't make it out to that, that tournament out of state.
Right. And I think this is what we always talked about when we wanted organizers to somewhat get on the same page with, like, consolidating events. Obviously, that's not going to happen for a long time, but this is kind of one of the things that happens, when, you've got 8 different dudes that run high profile events, and you got a company like Capcom that wants to work with everybody. And I mean, for Capcom, it's great. They're just like, hey, we'll just pick and choose who we want to be affiliated with, and we'll show up when we feel like it. But for everybody else, like we were talking to when I was talking to Tommy Guns last week, and he mentioned, like, hey, not a lot of people pay attention to Texas and stuff like that, because, like, nobody really knows what's going on with Texas majors, and it's almost just because, like, there's so much shit happening everywhere else,
Yeah. It's just like we keep talking about this. This just keeps coming back in different ways and from different viewpoints. Like, there's more events now than there can be people.
Yeah.
And yeah, you can, especially if you'll get the local audience always. So that normally means you're going to get, and for most games, you'll get at least a decent turnout. especially in a game like Street Fighter. You can pretty much hold a major tournament somewhere in the country every week, and you would still get, I would almost guarantee, close to 100 at least for Street Fighter.
Yeah.
But every other game, man, that's a hard thing.
No, I mean, I remember when KOF 13 first was at SCR, and the numbers we got for that, and I was thinking, wow, that's a lot better than I would have ever assumed we would have gotten at, anywhere else, because we went to NCR, and the numbers weren't bad at NCR. In fact, they were really good, but it was also like, damn, this was still pretty. It wasn't touching SCR's numbers, more or less.
Yeah.
I just think that when you're in this position to, I guess I won't say capitalize off of something great, because I feel like that just paints it in a negative light. But I feel like when you have an opportunity, you might want to consider letting some stuff go. I'm not saying that he can't run any other events or anything like that, but it's like you said, some tournaments need to start showcasing certain games. Now, the scary thing about that is everybody's just going to showcase Street Fighter 4.
Yeah, but see, that can work, I think.
No, it can.
I think what events should do, especially if they're more regional events, or a really good example last year is Northwest Majors. I think they did it right. They're like, look, we understand we're not necessarily the biggest tournament out there, but we're going to get Ogawa to come in. And that got a lot of people.
Yeah.
A lot of gear players to just go, well, you know what, maybe I do need to make my way out to Seattle. So I think finding your hook is necessary nowadays.
Yeah, and I think that's gonna be cool for communities, because then they can actually start building around certain stuff. It's like you have more than just Frosty Faustings and I guess CEO Taku to look forward to if you're an Air Dasher player,
Yeah, and I think that's only a good thing. I think it's sort of a bummer that a lot of them are kind of near each other, because obviously NEC has always been a big one, but now CEO Taku is right now, NEC is in December, Faustings is in January. Mm-hmm. And then you're already looking around the corner, and Northwest Majors is, if they stick with April, I'm not sure. They announced the dates, but I actually forget they are. So that's all within basically about a 6-month period.
Right.
A little bit more, but
even 6 months, man. Like how much did people travel before this? Like last year, maybe 2 events, right?
I feel like it's been increasing just by leaps and bounds probably since about 2010.
Yeah. And I think it had a lot to do with Road to Evo, because back then everybody wanted to be on that,
Yeah, that was the year it really started. Everyone wanted to go to the Road to Evo tournaments just so they can be seated and placed away from other top players. And yeah, that didn't really happen in most cases. But that's when everyone just said, yeah, screw it, I'm just going to keep traveling. And some people went broke doing it. Some people stopped doing it because they were smart enough to know they couldn't afford it and that it wasn't worth their time. And others just continue to do it because they can.
Yeah, I think, that was something that I wanted to do back then in 2010. I felt like, I was in a position to do that. And even then, I only had enough in the tank for SCR, NCR, and Evo. Even at my fullest, amount of energy as a 26-year-old full of beer, I was like, I'm only going 3 tournaments. So
yeah, it's hard. I think it's hell, because even if you have some kind of unlimited money, or you have a really good job to where you can afford to do all this, anybody who travels for a living knows just how much the grind can just trash your body, trash your your mind.
Yep.
Getting on a plane every week, I've known people who did it, and you wash out after a while. You either wash out or you become numb to it.
And
neither is really a good look.
Yeah, like you don't want to become like so used to traveling that you just like you don't even care about going home anymore. And then when you do go home, you're just like, I'm ready to go again because there's you just get detached. And I don't think it's worth it. I love what we do, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't think anything's worth that.
No, it definitely is.
But you mean to tell me Twitter followers and e-fame isn't worth that?
When you said e-fame, I thought about it for a minute.
Oh.
But then
it's
I was
tempting,
like,
right?
I mean, who doesn't want e-fame?
I want to be popular on the internet where it gets me nothing but nothing.
Yeah, it gets you nothing but some people who just want to talk shit.
Like, but then there's people who will defend me too, saying how I'm such an awesome guy.
You get to pull the puppet strings of Twitter. Like you get to have icons fight for you.
Yeah. Oh man, I'll get that blue star above my name finally.
All I'm saying is that all them people fighting for me won't let me stay in their house for free. They may ask somebody else to let me crash, but
will you stay in the airport because you refuse to pay? That's the real question.
Oh my God, man!
Look, I'm gonna put this out there.
Roll up to the tournament in the bathrobe, hell yeah!
I stayed in an airport for about 10 hours. 8 hours waiting for a buddy of mine to pick me up. So I think I could do a week.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I mean 8 hours is equivalent to a week, right?
Yeah, it's actually exactly how long a week.
Wait, is that motherfucker still at the airport?
I hope so.
Apparently he's in San Diego because I just saw a tweet that he's playing.
Okay, cool.
So I guess somebody gave him a ride now.
No, yeah, I'm about to say, man, like that dude is like literally chilling at the airport for the entire week. I mean, just like just go on standby, brother.
Yeah, people just need to prepare and set plans instead of just going to these goddamn things and expecting to live on the kindness of other people. Because there are plenty of people who do that. They know they have people that they can stay with out there, so they'll make last-minute plans. Go, hey, going to LA. I got some boys out there. I could probably stay with them. Not the whole generalization. Where like, hey, I'm just going to put up this here message asking everyone that follows me if I can crash with them.
I mean, we used to make this joke, like even back in the old days, of people who would literally just buy a ticket to show up at Evo and then try to bum people's rooms.
Yeah,
it definitely happened all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, when we were back in that real grimy era where it was just like you got $30 a night, fine, we'll do it, But
the real grimy era was like, Friday night in fucking Evo, and you wake up Saturday and there's some dude you don't know who it is on your floor just fucking took up a piece, and you're like, who the fuck is this dude?
It's like, hell nah, you gotta go, brother.
So
I think that happened in 2012 at the Southtown Suite. Like, I think there was somebody in that room that was just nobody knew who the hell he was.
I think there were several people in that room like that.
I'm really grateful I always managed to avoid that. When I had my own rooms, like in Evo and stuff like that,
yes.
I was, hell no.
That is what you got to do. And I know that's hard for some people because they're not making enough or whatever. They just don't have the funds to get their own room. But, man, when you get your own room at a major or any kind of tournament, it is the best.
Oh, yeah. And you know what? A lot of that is really expensive. I mean, look, hotels are, it depends on how much money you're making and stuff like that. But for a whole weekend, a hotel can add up pretty quickly if you're not careful. And the last thing you want to do is be that guy who's paying out of pocket and just have somebody who you don't even really know that well, who didn't ask, just be like taking up a little bit of corner. And you're like, really?
And then he looks at you. He's like, "Nah, man. Like, it's cool. I'm just hanging out, man. Like, I'm not even bothering you." I'm like, "Of course you're bothering me.
You didn't even ask me. Like, for real?"
Yeah, that's the worst. When like you're the one who got the room and everyone needs okay things with you, and they just bring a friend without you knowing.
Yeah.
And then you throw their friend out, and then
it's awkward.
No, it's not awkward. I don't know what you're talking about.
No, I mean, it's awkward for them. You don't care. I'm saying it's awkward for them.
It's awkward for your friend who was like, "I thought we were friends." Like, you thought wrong, man.
No, it's like, no, we're friends. You can stay. Your friend can't stay.
Your friend's got to find someplace else to go. If you need to find him someplace else to go right ahead.
They got to go.
Not having none of that crap. So, not everybody wants to put up with that so much, some people still do. I think a lot of people are starting to realize, like, hey, if I'm going to start asking for money for winning tournaments and, like, some real money, then, why the fuck should I still live this grimy lifestyle? If I'm winning Evo, why the fuck am I asking for rides?
Yeah, so, overall, SCR was not ideal. I don't think anyone truly expected it to be after all the delays and the venue issues.
Right.
But it was an event that happened, and there were some good matches, so I can't argue that. But overall, not my favorite. I'll say that.
No, that is the one thing I will give it is SCR and any major, more or less, almost has like immunity to criticism in terms of like how matches go. Like unless the venue is literally making it impossible for the matches to be played, like last SBO, like the tournament itself is probably going to be okay. So
when you have people complaining about waiting forever for their matches because people aren't getting DQ'd when they should be DQ'd,
that's just bad management.
I've said this plenty of times for years. Just basic DQ rule: you play one round all the way out. If someone's not there, you skip them, continue playing that round, and once the round is done, if they're not there, they're DQ'd.
See, and I think that should be common knowledge by this point.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not.
Well, it's not so much that it's not. It's a matter of TOs and bracket runners playing favorites. And people always say it doesn't happen. That's bullshit. It happens.
No, it always it actually is the opposite. It happens every damn tournament.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a huge problem. It's like, oh, hey, we're going to wait on this big name who's most likely going to get top 8 or top 16 or some shit. And who's he going to play? Oh, Super Fucks? I don't know who this guy is. Yeah. So, yeah, it's cool. He's probably going to beat him anyway. It's like stupid shit like that. And then to make it worse is when the bracket runner is friends with him. And they just wait as long as possible.
You know what?
The entire bracket until they come. And then in some cases, they play out the entire bracket, and the person who was there gets DQ'd over the person who was not there. Just because
they just left?
No, it's not that they left. This happens a lot. Let's say you and I are there. You're not there. There's some Guilty Gear shit. Everyone knows you. They don't know me. I'm waiting to play. I keep asking, when am I going to go up? Where's Super FX? Where is he? Oh, well, we're waiting on him. We're waiting on him. And I'm still there. Haven't left. They haven't called their match, but I go back and ask, oh yeah, you were DQ'd. You didn't show.
Oh, I've heard of that happening. I never know how that actually happens.
It's usually because they look at the name, like, oh yeah, we've been waiting on this match. Why are we waiting on it? Someone didn't show. So, well, they just go from there and just DQ the list name.
But yeah. So I know that Chris had what he wanted to say a light roasting. You wanted to talk about this.
I did want to talk about this, but every time I think about it, I'm reminded of so many people in my past who for whatever reason, they just were deluded about certain things, like sometimes people just, they don't get it. Or maybe they do get it and they thought that they could make something special happen as long as they just kept plugging away at an idea. And I'll be honest, nothing like this has ever happened. So I was shocked. I almost didn't believe it at first. I have never once. All right. So first of all, I'm talking about Tenryo, obviously. Chaos Code aficionado, official aficionado.
Official aficionado.
Over the last week, Tenryo first of all, back it up a little bit. For people who don't know Tenryo is a really active guy in the Chaos Code scene, which is pretty much him and a computer. But he did a lot of work to kind of spread the word about, Chaos Code, the game, trying to get people interested, people playing it. He would bring the game to events. He would, basically played the role of a guy trying to get his game noticed by other people, which, perfectly fine. Where he went wrong, unfortunately, was he started taking on official titles that hadn't been given to him. And
Actually, before we get there, there's just a quick aside we need to do here. So while he was an enthusiast, an official enthusiast,
right.
he was there out there to like get the game out, get it noticed, get people to play it, get people to want to play it. But before anything else started going real wild, he was the type of person that was name searching both the game and his name. So if at any point you said Chaos Code or Tenryo the Light, he would show up in your mentions much like a Candyman.
Oh God.
So, and this is one of those things that I happened to witness firsthand a year ago, because one of my son, Demonic, mentioned just in passing, Chaos Code sucks. Just very obvious bait. They were mutual follows, and the dude comes in, and Jimmys were rustled, people were unfollowed, like
Jimmys were rustled. I love it.
Things got rough. And this is where him starting to be a community manager started kind of came to my attention. But we go on. I just wanted to point out that shit got awry.
No, and I'll add to that where I've definitely experienced that, and this is something that I don't approve of as somebody who has built a community. It's okay to search through the game on Twitter or mentions of the game that you like within your community or your circle of people or whatever. And if you're gonna, add your own name to it to see if somebody's talking shit, that's fine too. But because obviously we can't stop you from doing that. But at the same time, that's not the best way to catch anybody, to bring anybody to your side. The last thing anybody wants is to feel like the dude that supposedly runs the scene for the game they were mentioning is watching them like a hawk. Big Brother's a Chaos Code fan. You better not say nothing.
I don't know why that was just perfect, but yes.
That's basically what it was.
Imagine that, like, just a microphone in every room, dude. The walls have eyes. You even write down the Chaos Code could be better if, and there's a guy suddenly hovering behind you and, with a knife, and you're like, it could be better if it wasn't so good. This is what I meant to say.
Yeah, that's basically, so we fast forward a little bit to current day where, and I don't even know why this came out. I don't know what happened to spark this response from FK Digital officially.
Oh, actually, I do know. So, for the release of Arcana Heart on Steam, there was a thread that was made that was like, hey, here's some bugs that probably need to be addressed in the game, right? Because what fighting game release at this point on PC isn't littered with all kinds of wackiness. And one of the FKD guys saw that this was a thread that was put up by Tenryo and basically said like, yo, why is this here? Like, we're gonna address this. Like, this doesn't need to be on Main Street here, that there's all this slop. And I guess at this point, the guy kind of got fed up with it because this had not been the first time that somebody had to come in and check the dude and say, Tenryo, you're like, yo, shut up. You're not anything to us. So that was basically the straw that broke the camel's back, and that pushed FKD to have an official statement. Like, there's just an official PDF you can go to on their website that just said, we have 0 official affiliation with Tenryo the Light.
Yeah, it's bad, man. Like, it's in Japanese. Like, they translated it in case that dude got to you overseas.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, if you've been talking to this man, stop right now. Yame! Like I said, though, I have never seen this happen to anybody. I've never seen a company just straight up come out and just be like, we don't claim this man.
Damn. If you were officially unbuoyed. Like, that is not, you are unmansed on the internet. Like,
we're not even gonna give you links to Famitsu articles anymore.
Like, it wasn't even an unmanning. Like, there was never a manning to be had. That was like just the negation of any potential mandom. Like,
so like Tenryo was that guy who snuck in the picture.
Yeah.
So
like, he LeBond us. Like, you know how LeBond did that to the first SDR official photo where he just like popped up in the back and does that stupid face. Like that's what
Yeah.
Tenryo Light did to FK
Like
Digital.
here's the official notification. We of FK Digital would like to clarify our understanding of an individual commonly known or commonly referred to as Tenryo, who has been active in FKD Digital's English communities, including Facebook, Twitter, and other SNSs, since the release of the PlayStation 3 version of Chaos Code. While we are appreciative of Tenryo's passion and assistance to our game, we would like to hereby clarify that Tenryo was never an FK Digital employee, nor was he appointed to be a community manager. All of Tenryo's messages and posts on the internet shall not represent FK Digital in any part thereof.
Jesus, man.
Like, they hit him with the full lingo, too. They're like, we got the legalese, just so you know.
Like that's the C&D. Like stop breathing, son. You know. Keep our names out of your mouth.
Somebody in chat just brought up a good point, which was Nintendo never even did that to Triforce.
Yeah, they still haven't. Like supposedly Reggie still shakes hands with him, like with the right hand. like
they're still cordial.
Yeah, like Reggie's like, yo, I'll chop it up with Triforce for about 2 seconds.
So
Man,
now here's crazy. Now here's where it got weird, right? Now I always knew that Tenryo was not all there, and this goes back to where I say he just reminded me of a lot of people I've met in my past who just they were really passionate about something to the point where they became that guy that kept giving out BS information because they wanted to remain relevant enough so that when real information came out, people would be like, "Yo, thanks for bringing out this godlike news article for us." Somehow.
His uncle worked in Nintendo?
Yeah, basically that shit, like he was his own uncle. And
damn. That's some Back to the Future shit.
Back to the Future shit, man. And I felt bad for him. Like I always feel bad for those kind of people because I think they actually believe in their head that this is working. That if they keep doing this, then FK Digital will be all like, "Hey, we got to pay this guy for some reason, right?" And I think. At first, he started out wanting to actually just get Chaos Code bigger, just like I did, because I was going to toot my own horn here. I brought Chaos Code to America. Me and Southtown, we fucking ran that shit. We had a first stream for Chaos Code in America, so I was really appreciative of what Tenryo was doing. But at the same time, as time went on, it started to become a little bit more about him. Like he was getting offended by shit that had nothing to do with him, but more or less had something to do with the game. And when that started happening, people just started talking shit about him. People started unfriending him, stopped talking to him, and the game suffered because people were just like, I don't want to mess with Chaos Code on the East Coast because this motherfucker's gonna be there.
Well, it's like we said, you literally couldn't write the words Chaos Code on Twitter without him literally showing up.
Yeah, and I don't know where he got it in his head that that's what a community manager does. I mean, I guess in a way, by definition, he was managing the community. He was like, this community is getting a little too uppity. Time to crack the whip.
Like you said, he was definitely just brothering the community where it was like, we are going to all enjoy Chaos Code to the fullest extent that one can. But I swear, if one of you steps out of line, it's not the greatest thing since sliced bread.
More a community micromanager shit.
And I think you brought up a good point where it was like there was all cancellation of potential boyhood to be had here. It's like, that's not boy. There's no boyhood to be had.
Yeah.
But the question that came up to my mind, and I think we discussed this at just briefly, which was, whose boy is it?
Oh,
like,
God.
Where was anyone to come in and be like, okay, all right, this has gone far enough. Like, I don't know what Tenryo's real name is. I'm just gonna say Ben, because it's probably Ben Rio, and that's making me laugh. So, I'm just gonna take Ben Rio aside. Yeah, I'm just gonna take Ben Rio aside and be like, dude, chill. They got the legalese in here. They want you to cut it out. Maybe dial it back a bit. Like, you might be dark geesing it right now.
No, he was definitely dark geesing it. And now here's the thing that happened. Like, SNK obviously never rolled up on Dark Geese and said, "Hey, shut up." They really had no reason to anyway. He wasn't nearly that damaging, to their business. But like he blamed the employee that quote unquote outed him as a liar for him being a liar.
Damn, you called and proved that I was a liar.
Yeah.
It's like, are you telling on me? Like, what? Yeah, that was the point.
He's like, he literally used the words, "You ruined my life." And at that point, I was like, you know what? He's probably right. This is probably what he spent the last 3 years of his life working on. I don't even know. Like, what the hell is he doing? Just being a Chaos Code aficionado, being enthusiastic about a game, and
I don't know. That's a good question. What was he doing?
Exactly. Like, what was he doing? And I look at this, and now here's the part where I'm gonna be like, Tenryo or whoever, as a community manager, here's where you messed up, and this is where the lesson comes in. Because at the end of the day, he didn't get the job done. Like, he may have wanted to be the community manager for the game, but even if he was, he would have been horrible at it. Either because of the big
militant about it,
right? Because he was militant about it, and not only that, like he wanted to be the guy. Like, he didn't want anybody else stepping in on that shit. And if they were, then he wanted to work with them, and that's where he got kind of dark geesy. When all of a sudden his name had to be on everything. And I'm not saying like it was like that bad or anything, but I kind of feel like it became more about him than the game. And when you're a community manager, that's like the worst possible thing to ever happen. If you're a community manager, I mean, literally all you're doing is just giving people an opportunity to try something out, and you shouldn't even get paid for that shit. Like, there's no effort really put into saying, hey, try this game, it's fun. My bosses are having an event where you can come out and play this game, or we're going to be bringing this game to this tournament, or we're having this contest to get a free copy of this game. Like, that's just a tweet, basically. And at the end of the day, it's the community that that matters, and you should be smoozing them. You should be massaging their shoulders. Suck up to them a little bit, kiss a little ass, try to engage them on what they want from a game, and then try to see, think in your mind like, hey, is this the game for them? Am I even talking to the right people?
Why are you arguing with people who don't like the game like somebody who's arguing about the console wars 15 years ago?
Right.
Dude, I just picture this guy like at a desk, wakes up, has his morning cup of coffee, has a paper on the desk, and just, casually logs into Twitter on his account and just, search hashtag chaos code and just see somebody just says chaos code sucks, and he just pulls out, the shotty from the drawer. It's like, it's go time.
He's just like, oh, good. I was afraid I was going to run out of things to do today.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously, I don't think anybody takes, his example seriously. But at the same time, I have seen a lot of people who, they do take people talking shit about their game pretty personally, And I assume they fancy themselves some kind of pillar of the community. And I'm like, if you do, the last thing you want to do is piss people off that you're trying to bring over to your side, Like, that was an issue with, some Air Dash games. Like Exard, we had an issue with that when, Justin Wong played it at Wednesday Night Fights or Runback or whatever the hell that happened. And I don't think they were that bad.
That was UGC, I think, or
was it UGC?
Maybe not even UGC. It was I think it was a tournament out. It was a random tournament out, kind of. I don't remember exactly where it was. It was one of the random events that happened in SoCal in the game.
Yeah, and like, I don't think people were that bad to him, but I just kind of felt like he felt blindsided, Because he literally just showed up to enjoy himself, and all of a sudden people are just like, trying to bite his nuts off. And it's just like, if they can't get away with it as a community manager, why should you get away with it?
Yeah, admittedly, like when you put it on Joe Schmo to be the ambassador for a game, like, which is that's not their job. And it's difficult. That's difficult. Imagine how much harder it is to do that in a professional manner.
Oh, yeah.
So when Benry over here is failing at step one, which is just be a decent person and don't go in people's mentions, mad militant that somebody said your game ain't the best. Maybe
don't go in there all willy-nilly, as you might say.
Yeah, don't go over there willy-nilly as a professional, like representing a greater community or company.
Right. And he wrote that shit. Like, he was telling people, like whenever, I remember when they updated Chaos Code on the console, and people were talking about, like, is this going to be arcade? Like, are we finally cut up to the arcade or something like that? And he chimed in with some information. I forget exactly what he said, but it was all just speculation.
Hit him with the soon.
Yeah.
Hit him with the soon, dude.
Yeah, hit him with the soon. That's what it was. He said soon, and I'm all like, What the hell does that mean, man?
I mean,
You don't
your
know
guess
shit.
is as good as mine, apparently.
Exactly. Yeah, like you don't know shit, and it got creepy. Like he started calling the dude his best friend, like the one of the executives at FK Digital was like his best friend, and apparently this dude had maybe talked to him once or twice on the internet. Like that's some like straight up some Stan shit, man.
That's like Triforce shit where he says he and Reggie are boys.
Yeah.
They shook hands.
They did. But hold on, did they actually touch hands, or did Reggie touch glove?
That's what I'm thinking. I think he was wearing a glove when he did it, and I think Reggie looked at him like this motherfucker, man. Like, nasty business, but great lesson to be learned there. If you want to manage a community, listen, engage, don't blame, don't attack. They are playing your game. You are not, you're not making them do anything. You're never going to be able to do that. So, I just say that towards anybody who wants to get anything started in their area. It can get frustrating. Sometimes you might want to lash out, but whenever you feel like that, say, hey, maybe this ain't for me, because I'm going to be dealing with a lot of this shit before this is over.
Yeah. The whole situation makes it sound as if he just wanted to be known and popular and have all those Twitter, internet followers and love and shit that I brought up earlier.
Man, it sucks for him, dude. No, he's not going to be able to cash in all those likes and retweets.
Yeah. I mean,
What
if I
likes and
remember
retweets,
right,
man? All he played was Chaos Code.
Dang.
I didn't want to roast him, but I guess I kind of did.
I mean, as someone that didn't like the game.
this was the one with Bearded Chef, right?
Yeah,
that was the one.
Yeah.
Where,
I like
give me that down and played it. And I was like, yo, play the bearded chef.
And to just kind of actually take this into a general discussion, this sort of shows the importance of good PR. So, like, a good community manager or good public relations, what it does is it connects players to the game with as little interference as possible.
Mm-hmm.
It basically, what it does is it facilitates you enjoying the game more. And if you're not exactly the most confident in how to approach your public relations for something, its best bet is to get the fuck out of the way completely.
Yeah. And if the company is like, if the company needs you, they'll call you. That I cannot stress enough. They have no issue with contacting people. It's just you gotta wait. You gotta let it happen. And then the thing that upsets me is like he did it for like 2 or 3 years and he never learned shit. That's just sad.
Like, and I don't feel like people really understand exactly how that works. Like, perfect example of somebody who was a great PR person, and I think we'd all agree, is Seth.
Oh,
Seth
totally.
Killian.
Mm-hmm.
Because Seth already had something that Capcom could use in him, which is standing and recognition in the community. Like, people would look at Seth and be like, wow, Seth was a good player. He brings a certain level of expertise to this job. We can listen to him because he actually, when he's talking about Street Fighter, he knows what the fuck he's talking about. He has a history to back it up. And Seth was really good just to talk to people in general. So he could actually enhance the public relations of Capcom at the time by making it seem more attached to the community that played it.
And it's like the best move they ever made.
Ain't nobody fucking know Benryo from anybody. Like, who is this motherfucker? I don't know him.
I actually got him on Facebook, or at least I used to, but
Well,
I know his real
all right.
name. I'm not gonna put him out like that, but yeah, you're right. Like they picked a guy who they knew would get the job done because everybody respected him. I don't think you'll ever find anybody on Seth's level in terms of that. Like where he's literally the total package.
Yeah. And hey, that doesn't necessarily mean don't give it a shot. I know that, there's definitely been good community reps. Obviously, NetherRealm has done a pretty good job reaching out to the community with their podcasts they've been doing and streaming. So, it's not don't try. It's if you're gonna try, just start out and be pretty subtle about it, unless you have a whole big plan behind it. And don't please don't get confrontational with your audience.
Yeah.
Why would you do that? Why would you do that? You
Just-
want them to enjoy your product, not to be mad at you about your product.
Right. And I mean, here's the funny thing, right? Like when Seth became the face of Street Fighter 4, people attacked him personally, you know? Like
Yeah.
people were on his ass about just stuff that he couldn't control or couldn't even do anything about immediately, right? So he was able to brave that stuff and still keep his cool and push information, do his job basically, you know? Whereas Tenryo, nobody even knew who he was to talk shit about him. He wasn't being paid to do anything, so there was literally nothing for him to lose.
I'll be completely real. I think at some point with the enthusiasm that he had of name searching himself for the game, I actually thought he was a bot. It was just a Chaos Code shit talk bot. It was talk shit on Chaos Code, or the bot's gonna get you.
He's a McCarthy bot.
Oh man, that was the soon. He's actually Skynet. We're fucked.
There's a gamma bomb waiting to drop on your head any moment now. So my verdict is, this motherfucker's crazy.
Damn, just straight out, just dropping it. I like how this was supposed to be a light roast because it's just like motherfucker needs to be committed.
The dude needs to have some examination going on because that is just not normal behavior. I tried not to.
I'm gonna ease up there because
I'm gonna back off of Chris on that one.
I was the one that wanted the light roast, and I'm just gonna say that might have been heavy-handed. Let me just put it this way: just needs help.
He needs some serious help. And I'm not saying ridicule him. Do not. If you don't have any help to give this brother, don't talk to him. Don't roast him. Don't talk shit because he deleted Twitter because everybody was on his ass. And
he's apparently just gone off the grid.
And that's good. Good for him. That was the first smart thing he's done in the last 3 years.
He's just the thing that got me was his final statement was the Tenryo brand is over, and I was like, you know what, maybe that's a good thing. Just start over fresh, just come back as Ryan the Dark, and nobody will ever know who it was.
Right.
So
I mean, he can totally do that, and I would invite him to do that once he gets his head together and realizes that there were some things wrong with his game plan. Hopefully he can learn from this experience, and I'm not saying he can't be a community manager ever. Maybe he can go to non-fighting games or some shit.
So speaking of lesser fighting games, some news came out that I saw on Sure You Can Let, kind of blew my mind, is that apparently Blade Arcus doesn't have net play.
This is you're just gonna go I'm already pissed off. You're gonna talk about this?
I mean, look, we have to bring up Sega at least once a show just to get a rise out of you.
Dude, this shit is ridiculous, man. How the hell are you only known for an online game and your one fighting game you bring it out this year, other than we're not even gonna talk about that other one. It's got no net code. It's got no net play. There's no excuse.
Just a quick reminder. Does Chaos Code have net play?
No, it certainly does not.
All right,
that was something that he claimed they were working on, but soon. Yeah, so Sega effing up again. I don't know what's going on over there. I'm assuming that they don't believe in this game whatsoever. Obviously they don't believe in the Shining franchise at all anyway. So why even give it a fighting chance?
I don't expect the net play to be fantastic by any stretch of the imagination. But you're just not even gonna try, straight up.
It's weird. It's this mentality of theirs where I think they hate their own games. I think they literally hate. God damn it,
I think they just hate their fans. Actually,
that's also possible. Considering there's no Blade Arcus fans, they're just well, nobody's gonna miss this.
Hey, you know what? There are still some Shining fans that are probably holding out hope that maybe after the Blade Arcus fighting game, they'll actually go back to making Shining RPGs. Somebody's probably hoping. I guarantee that somebody is, because every time they make a new Sonic game, somebody buys it in hopes that the next one will be good. And they're wrong every damn time, but there are people out there who keep doing it.
Yeah, and Sega's, they exist off of that. They are very much the Venus flytrap of game developers. You walk towards them thinking it might be different this time. Nope. So yeah, Blade Arcade does not have net play. Sega doesn't seem to have any plans to even patch it in. I don't. It's weird because they've been throwing a lot of money into promoting it. Like they're putting new characters in it. They're explaining how they're updated. They updated the game. It's definitely a different game than what it was when it first came out. They've sped it up. They've maybe nerfed some damage. They've rebalanced it. They're treating it like a freaking AAA title, except for the net play. And
it's gonna get patched in later in the pachinko version of the game.
Oh my god! So
I don't understand why you're sitting here stressing over this. Don't worry about it.
Well, the reason why I'm stressing over it because people are just gonna ask like, "Hey, when is net play coming to Blade Arcade?" And they're gonna be like, "Oh, soon." It'll be here when PSO2 hits America.
So wait, but didn't Sega publish DFC?
Yeah, but French Bread made it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's.
See, I wasn't sure who actually did the development on.
Yeah, I don't call DFC a Sega game. I don't really call it a French Bread game either. Honestly, I don't think either one of them could claim that. But because of French Bread, I believe they did put some net. That's probably one of the main reasons why DFC does have netcode. And that was actually pretty popular in Japan, so maybe they felt like they had something there. I don't know how well Blade Arcade is doing in arcades. Obviously, well enough to get some updates and add some new characters in. I guess it just slipped their minds,
Whoops.
Yep.
So what we're saying is that Sega is going to move on to making pachinko machines because SNK might no longer be making them.
Mm-hmm. Someone has to take it from them.
I mean, we thought it was going to be Konami, but they apparently released a statement saying they are committed to making these games still.
Wait,
which I don't believe at all, by the way.
Like, wow.
They're probably committed to re-releasing console games that came out like 30 years ago. You know what they're going to do? They're going to release games here in the States under a new name. It's probably going to be called Ultra,
Oh,
and
that sounds sneaky. No one will ever suspect.
Yeah, it really does.
God.
No one's ever going to know.
If they do that, I'll be perfectly fine with that. I'll be like, I
would love them to just bring back the old Ultra logo for the hell of it.
Oh, hell yeah, man. And you're just like, oh, man, silent service? Let's do it.
Good old. We'll just bring back Turtles 1. We'll just port it to PS4 and Xbox One, TMNT. Can you beat it? Probably not.
Extra levels added.
That's just because they hate you.
Yeah. But yeah, so SNK supposedly bowing out of the Pachi slot industry due to it having a continuous decline in user base over the last, 2-3 years?
Well, and I guess there's, and I don't know much about Japanese politics, but I guess there's been a big push to legalize gambling in Japan lately. I don't know how recent this is, but...
I mean, that'd be awesome. They're pretty much there already, so at this point, they might as well, they might as well do that. It's a lot safer. That's all I'm gonna say. The people you have to deal with legalized gambling will not kill you.
Right away. Yeah, I was gonna say I wouldn't go that far.
Right away.
I'm sure there's really plenty of ways you can still end up in a dumpster in Vegas.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
But now here's the interesting part for me. They are supposedly offering a retirement plan. I don't know if it's officially retirement. They might just be like, what the Japanese refer to retirement as, like you retired from making money, So you can either get the hell out or you can start making games again. That's apparently the ultimatum that SNK has given its pachinko employees. And these are the guys that make all the graphics and stuff and make all the bells and whistles and basically make everything that you thought was a cool game coming out look like a really dumb pachinko game. So that's not all bad, I guess. I don't know how much I believe this because it almost sounds too good to be true. It almost sounds like, SDR was right again. Like we did it, guys. Did we do it?
Yeah, we did, but I think I figured it out. KOF 14 is going to have bonus stages, and the bonus stages are going to be patch slots.
Oh, God. We just sit there and pull the patches. You know what? At this point, I would welcome that. If KOF 14 just had like a side mode where it's just like, hey, gamble with fake money, I'm like, sure, that's probably what I'm going to do the rest of my life anyway.
I miss bonus stages in video games. They were fun.
Yeah.
They served a purpose, Kind of took the edge off.
It taught you that, a regular human being that can somehow throw projectiles from his or her palms can, destroy an entire car.
Or break a whole bunch of barrels.
Mm-hmm.
And
prove that,
Or for some reason, hit a bunch of flaming... I don't really understand.
The barrels? Yeah, why would I hit flaming barrels?
Yeah, you hit flaming oil drums that do not explode and set you on fire. It just goes to show that the human body is the greatest machine in the world. That's it.
But does anybody else believe this? Does anybody else buy that SNK is just dumping all their resources back into the game division, out of nowhere?
Not really.
Yeah, I believe this like an RKO out of nowhere. Literally, it's about as believable as that.
I just don't believe it. Because it just seems like they're filling in a bunch of information that is true with this means that it's only going to be games again. It's like, okay, so this office, I think it's their Tokyo office is.
Yeah,
the Tokyo
office is closing.
That's the Osaka one. Sorry about that.
Yeah, Osaka's the main office.
Okay, so one of their offices is closing. They don't have any Pachi slots in the immediate next 3 months. So that's like A plus B equals C. And it's like, but what about all the other variables we haven't talked about? I don't know, some kind of official statement from them saying maybe that they're actually putting more time in the games now?
I would wait for that before I start hailing the return of SNK, the game developer,
Yeah, because I saw this news and I was like, I feel like Dream Cancel was making a few extra strides to say, I understand everybody would love for SNK to be back making games full time.
Right.
I gotta be completely honest, I just don't see it. I've been wrong before, and I would be pleased as punch to be wrong this time.
Right, and it's literally like me and Sanchez waiting for Night War to come out. It's just like we're not gonna.
I'm just forgetting about it at this point. I'm just like, they funded it. They got the gambler.
It's good, right?
We threw money at it at this point. If we get it, we get it. If we don't, I was like, my fault.
Yeah,
but if we don't, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me.
Yeah, man. You got me again, Joe. Shit.
It's like Joe mad. The only mad person here is me.
Joe mad. I'm mad. Shit. Fuck that. I want it to be true because if they dump everybody back over in there, that means maybe might finally see not only a better version of KOF 14, but maybe all that backlog stuff that just never made it into the digital releases. Maybe they might start working on that again. Maybe they'll bring NGBC HD Remix out on Steam like they should have did years ago.
Man. If they actually knew how to port their old games to modern systems, they would just make a lot of money.
Yeah, they would. Capcom tried to do it, and I'm not saying they're giving up on it, but obviously they decided to make their money another way. But they did a pretty good job at it, I think.
They gave up pretty quickly. It was like, check out Mega Man Powered Up, and regular Hunter X. But hey, these games are good, fun, they're cool. I like what you're doing. When do we get Powered Up 2 or regular Hunter X 2? Never. Okay.
How about these other games that are never going to come out, like Mega Man Online and Mega Man Universe, and nobody wants to play that.
Look, you're both dumb. What we're going to do, we're just going to take Mega Man Powered Up and Maverick Hunter X, and we're just going to put it in one box and sell it to people. Right? That's a sequel,
actually,
right?
Yeah, that's actually I just noticed that the Capcom franchises have become the Smiths of video games, where it's like, hey, we were only a band for a couple years, but here's the essential greatest hits, the persistent greatest hits, the
ultimate greatest hits,
the mega
rarities collection,
the Rhino Hi-Fi,
remastered
greatest hits, remastered
live
B-sides
from somebody's garage.
Mm-hmm. Here's Johnny Marr singing into a bucket while Morrissey's on the bass.
Oh,
we'll think you will enjoy this one.
No, like that. So, but SNK obviously has a chance to. I won't even say that it's a capitalization again, but it's just like they have a chance to make something happen again. They have a chance to. They don't have to even apologize for anything because they didn't do anything wrong. They're broke. They have a chance to make some money. But them being
Well,
broke,
obviously they made money wrong because they didn't have any, and that's why they went under the first time.
Well, we all know the story behind that. They had a game ready to go, and then they were just like, let's just redo it from scratch. And people are going to love it better that way. And they were right. It wasn't cost effective, though.
Which is hilarious because they used to put out a game every damn year and they didn't care about how good it was. They just cared about the cost.
Right. They just wanted to make sure that this thing came out because they wanted to keep their presence. They were like, we use the same sprites for about 15 years. Who gives a shit? So, it is what it is. And I hate saying
that's about as accurate as it is.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's all I can say. Don't ask me anything else about it until SNK actually comes out and says we shut down pachinko operations and we're cutting everybody's head off who don't want to make video games for us no more.
So that's kind of the high points. Obviously, there's been a lot of Street Fighter V news. There was Street Fighter V at SCR. We got the official reveal of Laura. I haven't played it. I haven't touched Street Fighter. So I don't even really have an opinion. I didn't even actually watch any of the gameplay footage.
Something still bugs me about this game, and I can't really put my finger on it. Like, I've played it, and it was not too bad. I definitely didn't, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed my time playing it. But I don't know. I guess it's the way some of the the way the characters move when they're getting hit.
Oh, you mean visually?
Yeah, visually. Something's just weird about it. And the visual cues will mess up your reactions sometimes, Like, I almost want to say it's too exaggerated.
How do you mean?
Like, this might have something to do with, like, the hit stops issues that I had witnessed at E3, where whenever you hit somebody, it was just like, you both froze for an instant, It wasn't like, your momentum continued. You just like, it was like that impact moment where you're just like, oh, you fucking countered this guy, and now hopefully you timed your follow-up button correctly. And I don't think that was a huge deal, but for me, that just kind of like, that was just a little jarring. It felt weird. And now when I see like all these new characters, that they're bringing out, it just.
Because I've talked to several people, and just kind of anecdotally, the way people feel about the game is that they feel like, yeah, visually it doesn't look too appealing right now, but they feel like, okay, we still got time. Graphics they can tighten up the graphics on level 3 a little bit,
yeah,
and it'll be fine. But a lot of people's problems with this game right now is that they feel like every character is very, well, not every character, but most characters are very samey, and that their tool sets are all alike.
You know what? That's something that they were bringing up. They brought that up early, actually, when they basically said, like, this V trigger results in multiple hits. This V trigger results in extra damage. And that may not even be necessarily the fault of the game, but whenever you add buffs like that, you kind of shoot yourself in the foot. Like, especially if you want to give them to every character. Like, you look at, like, KOF, and they gave Shin a damage buff. He's, like, the only dude that got it.
I think that part of the issue comes from when I think they have a couple problems, and they want to make sure that they want to make sure that nobody gets zoned out, a million times, a million years by fireballs. So they want to allow people to have a way in. But instead of doing what some games, which is just introducing a system mechanic that would say allow people to do something, everybody just has a different mechanic that basically does the same damn thing.
Yeah. And, I guess that's fine, Just call it like a universal buff.
Yeah. It's just kind of a weird situation. Like, even games like Third Strike had parry, which you may like parry, you may dislike parry, but it solved that issue.
Oh, definitely.
And every character in the game was still allowed to be their own archetype. Like everybody had different tools. Not everybody didn't have a different move that just somehow avoided a fireball. No, everybody was just like, look, I have a parry. Now my skill set can still be completely different from everybody else. Guilty Gear does it in the same way, and BlazBlue does it in the same way by allowing you things like dead angles, instant blocking, all these different things that then allow the characters to be varied.
Right.
And I feel like maybe in this case that's gonna be a problem with Street Fighter V.
See, like, well, I don't see why it theoretically it shouldn't, In theory, they're doing the exact thing they should be doing. And by giving people different sets of tools while universally all having the opportunity to use certain tools, they're all different. But they're not at the same time because they're all just like, it almost seems like they ran out of ideas. Because like some of those V-triggers are like really cool. And then some of them are just like, multiple hits. Easier to combo damage into this. You can juggle certain things that you normally can't. And then you add that with like, like I watched Laura gameplay and I don't think she's too much like anybody else from the cast, but like it seems like her only real standout right now is that she's got grab enders, and they're not actual grabs; they're just more like they look like grabs.
It basically is just like a closer knockdown or something.
Yeah, basically, yeah, and that's fine, but at the same time, I'm just like, all right, is this gonna lead to some like crazy meta later on? And it might. I think it's too early to judge right now. I think we could end up getting a vastly different game by the time it comes out, and by the time the cycle of its life ends 20 years from now, maybe by then it'll be completely different altogether. I don't know.
It's funny because I was having this conversation the other night that I think the biggest problem with doing the large number of public loc tests and, well, not even really location tests, but the public beta online testing and then just bringing the game is that people already feel like they have a sense of the game. Hell, I haven't even played it, and I do, when really what these should be is more of like, hey, try the new characters, see their new special moves, and that's all you should expect.
Right, it should be a demo. And it is.
People are trying to figure out like strats and like combos, and I'm like, why?
Yeah.
The game's not done.
I think it's because it's the first time.
They want to be the best in the beta version. That's all it is.
Exactly. Yeah, you're right. But that's in my opinion a stupid way to look at it.
Oh no, it really is. It's just that's what they're trying to do. It's like, hey guys, I won the first beta invitational.
Oh my God,
stuck on that.
I'm like, I know a guy who did that in Street Fighter Cross Tekken. He's like, yo, my Abel's got like in this shit. I'm like, what? This game's like not even 20% done yet.
So I don't know. It's just weird. I think, but there's going to be growing pains with this anyway, because this is basically the first time they've ever done this to this extent, where like they've basically brought the game out since since we've seen it, we've been able to play it.
Right. I would just reserve judgment on that, and like, it's not wrong to make strats. Obviously, if you just want to learn like get a good feel for the game, fine. I just don't think I can base any like I like it or don't like it opinions on it yet, because it's just not. I'm not paying for it yet, If I buy it and it's like something I don't like, you'll hear from me first, I mean, I do enjoy the pace, though. Definitely. I think that needs to either speed up or stay the same. Do not slow that shit down.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, it is way too early to make a definitive. I do worry, but I'm also willing to admit that I'll probably buy the game when it comes. Yeah. At least to just give it a shot.
Yeah,
which is more than I can say for Blade Arcus. Not fucking buying that game.
I'm not buying that game for you, man. Like, if I have 2 copies, you can have the other one, but
I mean, if you get an extra one, I will gladly take it. But I would not ask you to do that for me. We're friends, but that's kind of fucked up. Yo, Chris, take this bullet for me. Give me that copy of Blade Arc.
We need to review this game stat, man. Get it put in the mail. Oh, baby.
Chris, give Sega more of your hard-earned money.
Jesus
not for PSO2.
Christ, man. Oh. Heartburn, man.
I understand.
I know. Maybe someday they'll get better. Maybe. Oh yeah. So I guess with the talk of shit. Never mind. Who won the character vote? That's what I was trying to segue into. I'm messing up segues now, man. That used to be my thing. I can't even do that anymore. I'm losing it.
The what?
I'm losing my ability to run segues clean.
No, what was your question?
Oh, I was just saying like the Exert Revelator
That ends this week.
that ends this week. So
It's like ends Wednesday. So Haas is still in the lead.
Haas is still in the lead. It doesn't look like anybody's gonna overtake him, right?
No, it's not that wide of a gap.
Okay.
Busy second, if I remember right.
I still don't think Dizzy should even be on there. I feel like they should have just included characters they haven't mentioned. Well, whatever.
Man, it's going to be interesting because, like we were saying, most likely we're getting Haas or Dizzy back, and we'll know on probably it'll be late Thursday night here in the States. Probably actually in early Friday morning. I can't remember exactly what time it is. But if it's anything like the last announcement, it's going to be ass late at night for people here in Cali. And probably like early ass morning for people. Midwest is just dead in the middle of the night.
And I mean, I got to be up to like 4 a.m. to be like, oh yeah, this character I'm not going to play got put in.
I mean, when they announced the character vote, that's what time it was, if I remember correctly. Fucking like 4 or 5 in the morning or something.
Oh man, what if they had like some crazy like long ass count like a presidential election? This is why we should just hold presidential elections online.
So,
I mean that's cool. This obviously, this will be a regular thing for them, or they're going to do this more than once. Hopefully, I think they
see. I hope. I mean, well, I just characters. I fuck voting. Just like I know some people really want to see new characters, and I don't mind new characters, but there's a lot of people who are still out on the outside who the new characters don't really appeal to them, and they really wanted to love Exert, but they don't have their character anymore.
Yeah.
I'd rather let those people back into the game and just let new players pick up old characters because hey, they're new anyway.
That's true. It's a good point.
When are we getting Plus R Slayer back?
That's never happening, dude.
When are we getting AC Slayer back?
When are we getting AC Slater?
Ooh,
Look, Pachi is just like hell no, Slayer, man. Go back to Reload.
Yeah, man. Like, why are you not playing Reload? We should just be playing Reload.
It's like I'm just wondering. It's like, what if they do bring these characters back and they just give them the old Slayer treatment? It's like, yeah, remember Dizzy's fish? That only goes backwards now.
Hey, man, that could be kind of good, actually, in theory.
It's like the ice spike only comes up from the top of the screen.
It's always an overhead.
Damn.
But no.
Actually...
I mean the top, like the third
it comes
screen,
down from the bottom,
like
top down.
Yeah, but it never touches unless you're all the way up there. So it's only good for dust combo fodder. Like, let's just ruin the character. Like, the bubbles don't actually do anything. They're just bubbles. Like, bubbles never hurt no one.
It didn't make any sense the first time.
Yeah.
Just a soap bubble now. It just pops when you touch it. It doesn't actually hurt.
See, personally,
Dizzy, wash your ass,
Like, I'm whatever on Dizzy. Like, that's some people's character. That's great. That's fine. That's for you. Haas, he sets things on fire and he punches hard. Bridget. Now, let me tell you why I want Bridget back. For one thing, just the hilarious commentary stuff you get to say when he's on the screen. Like, oh, we hit him with the unblockable floppy bear mix-up? Like, the fucking bear.
Punching bear.
Oh, he's on the old-timey bicycle and it's on fire. He's got a bicycle.
Oh, you're talking about bringing back RoboKai?
That's true. There are multiple
Now that wasn't really a bicycle as so much as it was that like Leonardo da Vinci flying contraption.
that he made himself into.
Yeah.
No, technically it's a bicycle because he's got one wheel outside, one wheel inside of his body, and then it spins all the stuff on top of his head.
The other wheel's
so
the propeller. Like, what?
Actually, does it have two wheels?
It's only got one exposed wheel.
Yeah,
I'm
so
just
it's not a
assuming
bike.
Flying-
there's
it's
one
a-
inside of his body.
That's just a
Robokai is a
unicycle.
flying unicycle,
Yeah.
That makes the most sense I've ever heard.
but there's just, I mean, I'll be cool. Like if Hoffs wins, I'm not going to be upset. To be completely honest, Order
What if
Soul
they
was
make
always
a-
different enough from Soul to not feel like it's the same character.
Yeah.
What if they just give Haas a force break Fafnir without the force break?
Oh man, yeah. I've been
Okay,
talking
then I
about
might
that.
actually be upset. Like, look, normal Soul's Fafnir is good enough in this game. We don't need it's a low on counter hit. You fly 20 feet in the air and he gets a full running jump combo on.
For no meter.
I don't really need that. Actually, he gets a jump install combo if I remember correctly. Well, that was an AC. He probably gets something way, way better in plus R.
Jesus, man. What if, they could give him like some weird that burst assisted Fafnir or something. Ha!
Fafnir's a super.
It's
See,
just,
that's just
not
when the Big
even
Bang
an
Theory
animation, just like bam,
Yeah.
Oh, dude. Wow, we made it the whole 90 minutes.
We can always do it.
We can always put it together. That's why we are the #1 FGC podcast in the world.
We are also the #1 Capcom podcast.
Capcom,
We're the premier.
Premier
Oh,
Capcom,
sorry, my bad. The premiere.
Examu, Arxis, Technos,
Sync.
Snicked. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm excited to see what happens with. I want to know how long they're gonna take to implement them too, because I would
See, that's another thing is you got to feel like if this is a vote for a character to be in the game, that probably means console, right?
Yeah, I would
Because I not imagine unless they've already started developing all of these characters.
Wow.
Yeah, you'd assume that all of them are somehow developed or have been worked on, because they did say early on in development that every character has a chance of being in the game, meaning that they probably put some work into everything.
Oh, so maybe
On
they
top
have
of
maybe they have a basic model for everybody.
Yeah. On top of that, you figure they would have made a bunch of characters anyway to begin with, just so they can have more for DLC in the future, or more for future
for
games.
story mode for
And-
the Revelator version.
Yeah. And I personally feel that eventually we're going to get all the goddamn characters plus more new characters in the future, because that's just what's going to happen.
Let's see, how much would that be? That would be close to 30 people.
Oh, it would be more.
Damn.
Yeah, I was about to say, should be more.
And then the last
Because
character's gonna be.
I want
Ragnar.
to say when you included Justice and Cliff, it was 25 or 26 at least.
Jeez.
So it will easily eclipse 30 if they keep adding new characters.
So yeah, like if they aren't somewhat ready to go, that means they're either developing for console or, God forbid, they're going to extend the life of the arcade version and we don't get anything.
Well, no, they already announced console Revelator is like spring-ish 2016.
Right, and so it would make the most sense to do that. I'm thinking like they're gonna like have some weird like parallel run where the arcade's gonna get stuff, and then we gotta wait for, even after we get the console version of Revelator for them to patch it in, So we're sitting here watching people play Holy Order Soul on the arcade version in Japan, and we gotta wait like 2 months for them to put it on console version. That's
Oh, given the way Arxis has been doing their character releases, I would think that if the option was to patch straight into the arcade with console coming out, or just put it as a DLC character for console, they'd choose console.
yeah.
Because that way they can patch it in the arcade later as part of a major update and get people to go back to the arcade.
Oh man, they're gonna get us by the balls again.
They always do.
Yep.
That's how Arxis rolls.
Hey, I appreciate that way more than I appreciate Sega's business model. So thank you, Arxis.
Please continue to grab my balls.
Yes, you treat them well, not like them freaking stone hand Sega.
Anybody got anything else?
I think I'm done.
You think you're
I
done?
think I'm done.
I think you were done at about the hour mark.
Hold on. Oh, wait, actually, Chris, have you watched One Punch Man?
I have not seen the episode of that, but I have a lot of stuff queued up to watch.
All right. Look, man. Put that other fucking PSO anime that you're watching.
I'm not watching that crap. Are you kidding me?
Don't lie to me, man.
I
All
am
right,
not touching any of that. See, I had a great idea for a fight. That would have been great like years ago. But now, no. It's ruined. Sullied.
All right. So just put this away. just watch it. Like, you don't have to lie to me. It's okay. Just watch this show. It's good. Like, this is good. The new Gundam's good.
The
Like,
new
Kakai
Gundam is
Sensen
great.
did.
Holy shit.
Yeah, like, right?
That new Gundam is awesome.
All right, so I've always wanted to be a mech pilot because it's tight, but then this show opened my eyes to something different. All these kids are swole. Like, I could be piloting
man.
topless and ripped.
That shit's hella
This is a
messed
new
up,
life
man.
goal.
I'm like, dude, like, fuck. The only sucky part is like, getting the plug jacked into the back of your neck. Like, that must hurt.
Yeah, that was messed up.
Like,
Yeah, so you have this show's good. So Gundam's good. One Punch Man's really good.
dude, these mechs, these Gundams, they literally run on the blood of orphans.
Yeah.
Sounds hella fucked up.
It's pretty cool though, man. Like it's pretty nice. I enjoyed it.
Did you catch the end of Kakai Sensen?
I'm gonna catch that actually probably the night after Raw because I'm gonna go through a whole bunch of stuff.
So that was good. Like, I was satisfied with it. I care to see your opinion. But the thing that has me worried, I was like, man, I'm sitting down and enjoying anime.
It's a weird time again.
Yeah, like, what a time to be alive.
2015.
Two
It's
weeks
lit.
ago, we were like, Dragon Ball Super's got some shitty animation this week. This shit is sus. And this week, I'm like, damn.
Yeah, like, it's so fucking good. Like they started caring again, and then like it's basically 20. It's like 2001 all over again.
Yeah.
Where everybody's trying again. Everybody's
Nobody
like,
expected it.
Like, we can make money off the lowlies and whatnot, but let's spend that money on something we want to make.
Right? And it's paid off. Like, the animation quality in One Punch Man alone is just Jesus.
Damn. I hope they can keep that up.
Yeah. It's just, I'm just waiting to be horribly disappointed. Like, just, anime's good. Battle Chasers is going to get new comics in the game. And I'm just like, I'm just hoping that I wake up one day and they're like, you've been dead for the past 3 years.
And then
hit you with that Twilight Zone twist at the end?
And I'll be like, sweet.
It's like, hey, we're moving your job. You get to keep your same pay, but you're now in Willoughby. And no one in this chat got that joke, so let's just end it right here.
Yep, that's time to go.
Wow.
Thanks to everybody for listening to Super Desperation Radio. Sorry we had a little bit of audio difficulties. I know people were saying we kind of sounded like robots on and off again at night, and we're not 100% sure why.
I think I know why, but I'll figure it out later.
Yeah.
So, but thanks everybody for listening. So from everybody here, good night and good luck.
It's lit!